So when I was 13, I came out to my mom as transgender, and that was kind of the beginning of my journey into activism and where we are now. So to me, being an LGBTQIA youth means representing a community that's in dire need of representation. It means having a community and more so a family to represent. It means being a voice for the future and being able to move the community away from these bars and these clubs and other places that people like me looking for a community can't go to. And I would like to say it's not just youth that can't go into these bars and clubs, it's alcoholics too, recovering addicts, anyone who doesn't feel comfortable in these spaces that we as a community have latched onto. So I decided to become a voice for the future and decided to become an activist because someone had to do it, and to me it didn't look like anyone else was. It kept looking like people like me, people my age, especially queer people, were being spoken over by older people and saying things like, protect trans youth. Well, trans youth don't want protecting, we want to fight for ourselves. Maybe defend trans youth, elevate trans youth. People kept saying that to us, and we didn't want that. We wanted to fight for ourselves. We wanted to decide the future for ourselves instead of letting other people decide the future for us. But for many others, being queer and being a queer youth means something different. It can mean homelessness, bullying, struggling against parents, families, and places of work, places of learning, places of worship. And above all else, it can mean fear. In the past 2 years, and even more so, we've seen schools unafraid to shut down queer-straight alliances, to force trans kids into the wrong restrooms, and to be outwardly discriminatory. We've also seen people all over Houston and all over our country being given a license to discriminate. Queer youth all over our city need support. Youth who are getting kicked out, youth who don't have a place to stay, youth who don't feel included in our Pride celebrations. People who feel excluded by the bar culture of our community, people who feel isolated and unseen. I understand why I personally need Pride and the way we have it now, why I can't be proud every day of the year. I'm a lesbian, and early on in the relationship with my current girlfriend, we were taking the bus home, and as we waited in the downtown transit center, a man came over. He asked us if we were together. Fearing for our safety, we jumped to say no. We had to lie, because what else were we gonna do? He continued to harass us, ask us for our numbers. We told him we were minors, and he continued to harass us and make disparaging comments about our bodies and other things like that. Eventually we left. We couldn't keep standing there and taking the harassment because it was no longer safe. It's because of this that we don't feel safe walking down the street holding hands, that we don't feel safe moving through our world together. And that's why we still need places like Pride. Recently in London, a young lesbian couple was beaten up just for refusing to kiss for the pleasure of men on their bus. My girlfriend and I have been in this exact scenario where someone asked us to kiss and we refused. Luckily, we weren't beaten up, but it was still incredibly scary. That's why we need Pride. That's why we need Pride everywhere. Pride all over Houston means Pride not just for us, though. It means Pride not just for cisgender people, Pride not just for white people, Pride not just for those who can have the luxury of being in this room today, taking off work in the middle of a work day. Pride not just for those who can make it downtown on a weekend. Pride not just for those who have the mobility to move around the Pride Festival and parade like it is now. Pride all over Houston means Pride for those who don't feel safe at our Pride celebrations. It means Pride for our family members that don't live in Montrose. It means Pride for people who we may have nothing in common with. That's why we need to change the way we celebrate Pride and make it better and make this a more inclusive Pride for everyone. Thank you.